Okay, let's see here. They're gonna be about to start here. But on the so we have here the bottom
And
left.
then it looks like they're actually taking off now.
Yeah, like
according to my streams, the first to pull looked like Stars and Exorsus.
Yeah, but like as you can see on the time, it actually shows that they were slightly ahead. So they all went at 4:30, as I can see.
Okay.
So
they did all pull at the same time, just because of the timers.
Yes,
and everything.
that's the thing. That's why we need the timers, because they are all around the world, and a go on Skype doesn't work the same. So yeah, Kina, this is all yours. What's going on here? What are we seeing? Oh wait.
Well, right now we're seeing all the goats tackle the trash pretty standardly, just running through all of it as quick as they can, burning down all the packs in AoE fashion. Nothing too exciting going on yet. We'll have to wait to see when they get to Morchok to see who takes the biggest risk with that boss. As we saw in the last race between Vodka and Method, you know, in an event like this, they are not going to be clearing the trash packs on the side. Hopefully it doesn't give any of these guys an early problem, because that might be unrecoverable with so much competition here.
Well, I can say that I don't think they will clear the trash on the sides, because I've actually talked about it. They've been talking. It's really very fascinating. When they were talking to me, they're all already started. This is just, I'm just going to show you guys.
They've already pulled Morchok, all of them.
This is just, this is pretty exciting. For just to say, like, they were talking to me and said, oh, there's ways to skip this and to skip that. It's just, there's a lot of bugs in the game that can be... he didn't split on the top right. Or it's already splitted, I guess, on the top right.
I'm assuming he's already split, and we can't tell from this angle.
I see. So yeah, they were asking, are we allowed to skip this trash and that trash? Like, basically there's ways to skip trash by using bugs. I didn't even know that. Did you know about that?
No. I'm not gonna pretend like I did. Do you know which trash it is they're gonna be skipping?
No, they're not. They agreed not to.
Oh, they agreed not to.
They agreed not to abuse any bugs.
Well, out of curiosity, do you know which trash they were gonna skip?
It was the one from the dragons, I think. What is it called?
Ultraxion?
Yeah, you can actually skip trash there, I think. I don't know how they do it. It's pretty exciting to see all those guilds playing together. Like, is there already one death? I don't think so.
I have the 4 streams pulled up together here, so it's a little hard to see the raid frames. I'm not sure if anybody's died yet. I don't think so. I'm watching my grids here pretty hard. I don't see any empty dead boxes. Can
you give some insight about the boss encounter? How does it work? What's the strategy? What's the abilities he uses?
As most people know, Morchok is a pretty straightforward fight. He doesn't have too many different spells. He has a ground stomp that deals AoE damage to an area around him, around 20-ish yards. On heroic mode, he splits into 2, and the ground stomp adds a debuff that basically kills you if you take 2 simultaneously. So it's important that you spread out both bosses and pretty much do the boss at the same time twice. That's not going to provide too much of a challenge for either of these guilds. It really is the same fight on heroic, you're just doing it twice at the same time.
Yeah, I see. And do you see anything special with the comps?
You know, right now I'm not seeing anything too different from the norm for either comp. It looks like both of them are bringing a fairly standard raid comp so far.
So is it the same with Stars? Because they were asking me, are we allowed to bring 10 mages? I was like, what's going to happen? Are you going to bring 10 mages?
I mean, I think a lot of people would argue that Stars bringing 10 mages is a normal raid comp for them. So I don't know. I don't know if that's considered out of the ordinary for them.
Yeah, I see. But like, do they run 10 mages right now?
Right now, no. It looks like they have a pretty normal raid comp. I think we'd have to get a little deeper into the raids before we saw those kinds of drastic switches going on.
So yeah, how is the HP of the bosses right now? Oh, it seems...
It looks like Stars has Morchok down.
Stars is
And
already.
see if my timers are lined up here.
Yeah, I'm watching here. Stars has already killed Morchok. What is that? How did they kill it so fast?
Everybody's cleaning up the boss pretty much at the same time right now and about to move on.
Also, for the people wondering, Stars had a slight ahead because of the timer. We'll make sure to to check out at the ending when the timer is done to see the timer on the website. So, oh, what's going on?
It looks like a lot of people are down on Exorsus' side. They have a mass res going out, so it's not too big of a problem.
Wait, why did they die?
Off of their stream for a minute, so I don't know why they died. It seemed like they died after Morchok went down.
But wait, didn't they die to remove like the debuff for? Didn't they die to remove the debuff?
But from what I saw, not their entire raid died. It looked like only maybe 8 people died. And they have a summon going out to get to the next spot, so that saves a lot of time. Looks like they're not going to lose any time from that, actually.
My god. As you guys can see here, did they all choose this? No, you got some doing the ooze boss and some doing the... like, you got actually two guilds doing the ooze.
Note that Exorsus and Paragon both moved on to Zon'ozz, while Blood Legion and Stars both moved on to Yor'sahj.
That's really that's pretty nice that we can actually have that difference where you have the two different bosses. You actually have the two different bosses when I'm switching between Stars and Exorsus and between Blood Legion and Paragon. That's really cool to see that difference. What do you think? Like, can you give some more insight about yeah, like the what is it? The ooze boss and the what's the other boss, by the way, called? Because I don't know all the names. I know what their mechanics are and what the strats are, but I don't know the names.
Well, Exorsus and Paragon are going to be tackling Zon'ozz next, who is the pong boss or the ping pong boss or whatever you want to call it, beach ball. He involves a lot of bouncing of balls, for lack of a better word. And Stars and Blood Legion are going to be tackling Yor'sahj right now. Both bosses are very different. Zon'ozz relies on very high DPS, very high healing, and a pretty coordinated strat, whereas Yor'sahj can evolve as the fight goes on. You get different spawns that drastically change how the fight needs to be tackled. I think in this case, maybe going with Zon'ozz is I almost want to say Zon'ozz might be a safer bet, because you know what the strategy is every time you tackle it. The fight's not going to change too much, and as long as you do your job correctly, you're going to come out ahead on that fight. Yor'sahj could throw something different at you each time you attempt it, and that requires adapting to a different situation. So going into that fight first, I don't know which one is the better option, but I think Zon'ozz is definitely a safer boss to do. Of course, you have to do both anyway, so that might not even matter.
Right now, everybody's, I guess, well on pace. Everybody can still win right now.
Nobody's behind at this point. This is still anybody's game, and we're still early into this race, so there's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen.
Yeah. And I'm just checking it. We see Stars already pulling the boss here.
Stars is pulling Yor'sahj right now.
And I think Blood Legion, if I get it right, is about to pull as well.
They are finishing up the last trash pack right here, and they'll be pulling Yor'sahj shortly. It looks like Exorsus is getting ready to pull Zon'ozz, and Paragon as well is about to pull Zon'ozz. They actually dove right in before Exorsus, even though Exorsus finished the trash first.
That's really crazy. Like, no time to lose. 1 second can be the difference between winning this event. That's how close it was with Vodka and Method. So no downtime.
All 4 guilds tackling their bosses now. Exorsus and Paragon taking on Zon'ozz, while Stars and Blood Legion take on Yor'sahj.
It's really cool to see like both guilds, like all 4 guilds racing, and there's so much things going on that most people aren't aware of when they just raid. There's a lot of these other hardcore guilds that have been working out on strats for a very long time. And can you give some insight in what goes in their head, in those top guilds' heads? Because you've been a top raider yourself. Oh, can you hear me? I think that I just lost my my co-host. Seems he lost connection. I also want to do a shout out to Owned, by the way, because there he is back. Hina is back.
Yo yo.
Yo 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 yo. How are you doing, man? I missed you.
Well, he's oh, that's sweet. I missed you too.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, I was just giving a shout out to Own for plugging the event as well, and I was just saying that to the people, to explaining that those guilds are top guilds, have been raiding and have been working out things so hard. A lot of people don't even realize how much preparation and how much work goes into it. The PvE, like you said earlier, the PvE, the high-end PvE raids don't get as much credit as they deserve for putting all that work in. It's only like when there's a world first and then it's gone. Can you give some insight in what goes on in their head? Because you've been a top raider yourself.
Oh, I have been a top raider, and I can tell you that for the most part, it's once you've been doing it for long enough, you don't feel that pressure anymore of being on top. You don't feel that added stress all the time. It's just about doing your job and making sure that you're doing it as well as you can. Always trying to stay current, staying up on the trends, you know, what works in high-end rating now and what doesn't. And that's what a lot of these guys are going through. It's just trying to stay current, trying to do the best that they can, and trying to keep up with what other guilds are doing. That's
really cool to see how, yeah, I'm really happy that they're all coming together here and are so such a sport. I haven't seen too much hate, not too much like they really wish each other good luck and stuff. And those are 25-man raid groups. So much stuff can actually go wrong during this event. One mistake of one guy can actually make them lose the entire event.
And all four of these fights that we're watching right now have been pretty clean so far. One thing I wanted to note is that on the Yor'sahj side, I'm sure people have been watching the ooze spawns, trying to figure out, you know, what strats they can apply to their raid. And one thing is universal so far, that nobody likes the green ooze. It's going down almost every time it spawns.
And can you tell us why that's the case?
Well, for people who do Yor'sahj, one of the problems with the green ooze is that it requires spreading out quite a bit. Like, a lot of the oozes you can group up for, you can heal through them, you can AoE down, you can, you know, the strats just lend themselves well to grouping up. The green ooze definitely makes you spread out, and that makes the fight more difficult when everything else is, you know, counterintuitive to that. So any chance you can get to kill the green ooze is going to help your raid out quite a bit.
Oh, we see here Paragon, I think, that has already killed the boss and are already moving to the next one. And we got, what is the other guild that is doing it are still...
Exorsus is going to be bringing it down right here, it looks like. They're at about 0%.
It's about to die.
And they do have it down. Both guilds who are on Zon'ozz have Zon'ozz down. They're going to be moving on to Yor'sahj. Stars and Blood Legion are finishing up Yor'sahj, or they should be in a little bit here, and they'll be moving on to Zon'ozz. It should be noted that Zon'ozz is a little bit shorter of a fight than Yor'sahj. Yor'sahj, at least when it first came out, was considered quite a bit of an endurance fight, where even it took around 10 minutes to kill when it first came out, and you needed all 10 minutes of that hardened rage to get it down. So it is considered the longer fight of these two.
So right now we have Stars and Blood Legion doing both the boss. And they're pretty much synced. We see Stars has just killed the boss and they're going to the next one. They're really rushing, using potions and stuff. No time
using everything they can to stay as fast as they can. I imagine the GM in that guild just being on speed IRL all the time as he raid leads.
I also want to give a big shout out to everybody that is donating right now. I've seen like a lot of donations coming in. opsharecraft.com. This event is for charity for them kids in Africa who face the worst hunger crisis in 60 years. All donations are being matched by DC Entertainment. So yeah, like all the help we can get, all the help them kids can get is very much appreciated. The gaming community coming together, almost raising 600K so far. And as we just see here, Blood Legend has finished killing. Let me see, Blood Legend.
They did just finish Yor'sahj. They're going to be moving to Zon'ozz. Now, I'm taking this moment to refresh all of my streams since all of these bosses are down.
And Stars has already started killing the trash.
It's weird to see these four guilds suddenly switch sides of the instant, since they both went in different, or all four went in different directions.
I wonder if they're all going to
now coming back to the other sides.
I wonder if they're all going to come together with the next boss, and
that's what I'm waiting to see. We're going to have to see who pulls Hagara first to really know who's a hit right now.
I also still want to say that we're actually giving out razor prices for people that are donating. So make sure to to keep that in mind. $10 to win tier 1 prices and $20 to win tier 2 prices. And if you donate multiple times, your chance doubles, quadruples to win very high-end Razer equipment. I just wanted to plug that because yeah, all donations help out like crazy. Going back here to all the view of all the 4 guilds. And you can really see like the top left and the bottom left, well, on my stream at least, it's almost like it's the same guild. They're on the same trash pack, they're doing everything exactly the same, but it's 2 different guilds.
It looks like, at least on my streams, Paragon has pulled Yor'sahj already. So right now it looks like they're a little bit ahead. Thing is, they've killed the first boss of these 2. They've pulled the second one. They're getting their first ooze spawn right now. Blood Legion and Stars are still finishing the trash on their way to Zon'ozz. We really won't be able to tell who's ahead until they get to Hagara. But right now it looks like Paragon is slightly ahead. Exorsus is pulling Yor'sahj right now. We'll see how they contend with Paragon as they go through these ooze spawns.
I think that Stars is slightly ahead. I don't know though. I just feel like Stars is slightly ahead right now. Just to tell you guys, we reached 40,000 viewers, which is just impressive. I really want to, and this is the English version. There's also a Russian and a Chinese version. I wonder how many viewers they have. I'm gonna check here with the tech guy around the world, checking out the streams, and yeah. It's just amazing to see what's going on.
Wow, Russians have 5K.
Russians have 5,000 people watching.
And Chinese also have more than 1K people watching.
So we're actually almost at 50K watching this event.
And Stars has just pulled Zon'ozz here. Blood Legion is finishing up their last trash pack before Zon'ozz. We'll see how long they take to pull. I imagine it won't be much time. Have Exorsus going all out for Yor'sahj right now, getting all of the AoE in that they can. And true to form, Paragon still maintaining what looks like right now a slight lead. Of course, it's a little hard to tell yet. All of the guilds keeping everything under control right now, seeing very clean kills, nothing out of the ordinary yet, nothing going wrong yet.
So what's the strategy like? How is the strategy to down those bosses extremely fast? What do they have? What does the guild have to come up with? Like a guild have to come up with to get that slight edge against the other team? Do you have any ideas? Can you give some insight in those hardcore raiders? Because so many people watching this stream right now are casual raiders, are doing this with the buff. Those guilds are doing this without the buff, which is just completely. It's much harder, and yeah, like, and they're trying to race against the clock. So do you have any? Yeah, can you give any? Like just some kind of yeah, what do people have to expect as a casual raider when they look at those hardcore raiders? What's going on in their head when they're doing this kind of events?
Well, right, I can tell you that the trick to getting these bosses down quick, and this might sound like common sense, is applying as much damage to the boss in as short a time period as possible. Now That sounds really easy, but take Yor'sahj for example. A lot of ads spawn throughout that fight. If you get the black ooze, then you have a lot of ads you have to AoE. If you get the purple ooze, your casters have no mana, and you have a mana void that you have to kill. Like, every time you have to redirect damage to an ad, these are problems. So the trick to getting these bosses down is never fully switching to the ads unless it's absolutely necessary. You want to be doing cleave damage, AoE damage, and splitting damage as much as possible, so that you're always applying damage to the boss. And this, for a lot of guilds, this might sound like common sense, but these are the little things that will give you those extra seconds advantage when it comes to killing that boss quicker.
So yeah, it's not just. Do you think it actually like the choice of which ooze to kill is being also decided about? Because I know the black one gets ads, right?
The black one does give them ads. Well, all of them have some kind of devastating effect. I think for the most part, the two to focus on for a competition like this is going to be green, because it causes you to spread out. It causes you to have to apply a very high degree of tactical and positional awareness, which is going to lower your DPS. Just that amount of moving, that amount of being careful is going to lower the amount of DPS that you're doing. So getting rid of green is going to be helpful, and then getting rid of black is going to be very helpful, because when black spawns, you're losing a lot of DPS on the boss by redirecting it to AoE down the ads, and that's going to lower your raid DPS quite a bit as well.
And in a normal raid, do they also have the same black green focus, or is it only because of a speed run that they would actually rather choose the black one?
In a normal raid, you're still going to prioritize green pretty high. Black might not be as high, especially if you're trying to do things like parses, or if you're trying to get really high DPS numbers, things like that. Black is good for that, because those ads allowing you to use that kind of DPS is really going to skyrocket your numbers. In a competition like this, that might not apply here. Like, you might not want to waste the time killing those kinds of ads when you could just single target the boss down.
So yeah, you can really see that when you're trying to go for a speed run, the strategy is slightly different, because everywhere you can win a little bit time, yeah, you try to win sometimes. So yeah, it's very important for people that are watching the live stream that they realize that they're doing this without any kind of buff, and the
Blood Legion coming extremely close to wiping at the end of Zon'ozz.
Oh my god.
Oh man, the boss went down just as their raid went down. They have 2 people alive right now.
That is crazy.
That was almost very bad. You notice all 4 guilds are killing their bosses, their respective bosses, at about the same time.
Oh my
and they're
god.
Gonna be moving
Blood
on to
Legion
Hagara.
was almost out of the race there. Oh my god, why didn't I see it? Like, I haven't seen it.
That was
went
very.
very fast.
I was sitting here going, I think they have it. They're okay, and they just kept dying. I didn't know.
But maybe they did it on purpose. Because
if they did it, you know what? We'll have to ask them after this, because if they did it on purpose, that's the level of coordination that's unheard of.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I know that as far as I know that if you die, you lose the debuff for heroism. So they're dying on purpose, so they can recast heroism without having to wait 10 minutes.
I'm at a loss, because it's definitely a possibility, but I don't think anyone would ever want to cut it that close. They had 2 people alive.
I don't know. You never know.
I definitely doubt that.
We have to check that out later. You can see right now, Exorsus seems to be the guild that is.
Exorsus does look to be a little bit behind the pace right now. Hopefully they'll be able to catch up and get back into this race. They're only a little bit behind, if they're behind at all right now.
It's a little bit RP right now. It's a little bit RPing going right now.
Playing the waiting game in front of Hagara's portal here. Exchanging campfire stories, talking about that one time we almost wiped at Zon'ozz. That was crazy.
I wonder if it was on purpose though, because Blood Legion said they were going to do some crazy stuff. We see here, which is it, Paragon and Blood Legion. No, actually, This is Stars and Blood Legion are already starting the encounter.
Well, Exorsus has committed suicide.
What did
I'm
they?
assuming to get rid of their. I'm assuming to get rid of their.
Oh my God!
They all just decided to take a leap of faith off the cliff.
They're all communicating. We're seeing here some crazy plays in order to get that slight little edge. Just committing mass suicide. I wonder what the viewers are going. I guess they're going
to get the mass res, and they're going to the portal now. Yeah, it's not a bad play. Let's get rid of that heroism buff real quick. Just take a jump off the cliff.
I love how those guilds are coming with some pretty outside the box, yeah, like tactics in order to get that slight little edge. So can you tell us a little bit more about this boss?
Well, Hagara is a boss that I'm really interested to see all four of these guilds tackle at the same time. You know, I'm glad they're going into it at the same time, because this is a boss that can employ a lot of different strategies. Like, just from any handful of guilds that you ask, they'll all do this boss just that little bit different, and I'm excited to see how these four guilds decide to tackle it. It's not too hard of a fight, and because of that, it allows you to try new things or different things that maybe you haven't seen before. And you know, all of these guilds said that they're going to be trying new things, maybe some things you haven't seen before. Maybe they'll take some risk on this boss to catch up for, you know, to try to get a little bit of an advantage or catch up for lost time. The trash, however, is still going to slow them down, because this is a little bit of a gauntlet style trash where it just spawns over time and you have to kill it basically as it comes.
Yeah, I see. I think we got so many viewers that the owned counter crashed, at least on my page. It says 20k. I don't think suddenly 45k people would disappear. I think that's a little glitch.
So it says 40k.
Oh. I also want to say for the people watching, we're doing this event for them kids, and also for the gaming community, of course, to bring like more.
If their donations don't go through immediately, fundraiser is fixing it. They are being counted. And
all donations.
We'll get a confirmation.
All donations are being counted for. Just repeating that. Thanks a lot for all the donations. You guys are putting a heavy traffic on the fundraiser webpage. I see it going up and down all the time. So I really want to thank everyone for yeah, for helping out so much and being so generous, because it really makes a huge difference. So I really want to thank everyone for that. I also want to say and add that all donations go directly to Save the Children, and everything gets doubled and matched. 180% of your donation will actually go to the field, to them kids. And yeah, I'm gonna go back here to the event because we see here different faces. I'm gonna have Kina explain the faces and the strategies here.
Oh, right now we saw Blood Legion go through a lightning phase where they used a cross or a plus strat where they stack in a plus sign formation and immediately chain the lightning to all four conductors. That worked very well for them. Moving into the frost part of the fight, Paragon chose to stay in the middle of the platform, DPS the crystals from far away. That worked well for them. It looks like Stars actually ran around the outside of the platform to kill the crystals that way, which, yeah, I didn't really expect much different from them. I think Stars, for the most part, has always been a raiding guild that's known for, you know, just tackling the fight in the most, yeah, kind of brute forcing their way through the fight just with raw skill and power. And it looks like they tackled this the same way.
I'm just losing my voice here because I'm drinking water but I misdrinked a little bit, so I muted myself.
Blood Legion is now in their frost phase. They have a few people stacked in the middle, their ranged DPS stacked in the middle, DPS and crystal from afar, while their melee DPS runs around the outside. This is a strat that a lot of guilds have been using now, with their range in the middle and their melee on the outside. It seems to be the quickest way to get most of the crystals down effectively. Meanwhile, Stars is hitting into their lightning phase along with Paragon.
So right now, which guild has the slight edge over the other guilds? Like, which one is the fastest right now? Because you see every single guild is on the same boss.
right now it looks like Blood Legion is actually ahead just slightly, followed by Paragon, followed by Stars.
What I
To see
find
exactly who
fascinating,
kills this
there's
boss
actually
first, I think
swings.
it's going to be Blood Legion.
There's actually swings going on, right? Because Blood Legion was not ahead at the start, and now they're slightly ahead. So you really see at one point a guild crossing the other one, and then again being crossed. Like it's really a race.
If you look on Exorsus' stream, you notice that they actually don't even care about ice walls in Russia. Apparently, they just Cloak of Shadows right through those, or they blink right through them. They don't. Ice walls don't matter in Russia. It's cold there already. They're not worried about it.
We know. Only in Russia, like they're pretty badass, and yeah, it's just crazy to see that. I didn't even know you could blink through them.
I think yeah, just to be sure, I'm pretty sure it was a Cloak of Shadows. He just ran through the ice wall and continued DPSing the crystal.
We see Stars and Blood Legion head on head. They're both actually. Wait.
Yep, Stars taking a leap of faith, getting rid of that heroism debuff. That's the way you do it.
They're
nowadays.
also doing it.
We don't worry about heroism debuffs around here. We just jump off of cliffs. And they're gonna run back while they wait for the Ultraxion event to begin.
That's,
You know, I'm kind of surprised they didn't.
is Blood
I'm kind
Legion
of surprised
doing
they
it?
didn't have a mass res for that.
Yeah, why didn't they use a mass res? But there's a long. Maybe they just timed it and they want to use more mass reses or something.
Blood Legion, I believe, was actually the first to get Hagara down, and they're going to be the first to start the Hagara trash. Paragon is not far behind them. Exorsus right now is taking their leap of faith, keeping in tradition with Stars, saying we ain't afraid of falling either.
I really like to see how they're all mass suiciding. Imagine if by the time they end, like they get some red armor and stuff, and they forget to repair or something. That would be pretty crazy. I don't think it's gonna happen though. But they're also running. So there is actually a debuff, right? When you can only mass.
I'm kind of waiting to see. I don't think actually they lost any time by doing that because the trash takes a while to spawn anyway. So they can start the RP event, suicide themselves, and make it back to the instance before they even need to start clearing the trash.
I think that's pretty hardcore, to be honest. That's one of the plays I've seen in this event, like mass suiciding yourself in order to get that slight little edge. And it looks like, is it Blood Legion starting the first encounter? Like, I think Blood
Legion has started the trash. The small dragons are coming down. This is another gauntlet-style trash pack where it just comes in waves over time.
And we see also Stars starting the trash. It seems almost everyone is almost on time here. This is really a very close race. Kina, can you give me some insight? How come there is not one guild that just gets more and more and more ahead out of all the rest? Why is that not?
You see, that's quite easy. The problem with these guilds is they're all the best. Like, they're the best guild from each of their respective countries. So in order for the best to beat the best, you would have to be just worlds apart, and that's not going to happen here. Like, these guilds are pretty closely, they're going to remain pretty closely grouped because they're almost even in skill level. These are all of the best guilds with all of the best players, and it's going to be really difficult for someone to pull ahead of someone else this early in the race.
Yeah, I understand. Do you think that just out of curiosity, do you think that oh, I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah, what about the comms? Are they switching out people? Did you see like?
I've been watching that for a while now, and they've been making swaps here and there, but the comps have remained pretty standard. There isn't too much raid stacking going on, and of course you have to ask your average raider what they define raid stacking is. Some people say bringing 4 of the same class is stacking, but that's, you know, it's a matter of opinion for the most part. So far, I haven't seen any drastic raid comps or anything like that. Of course, that might change when we get later on, when we get deeper into the instance, into harder fights such as Spine or maybe Madness. But right now, it looks like pretty standard raid comps for the most part.
I just want to give, say something that we raised already $3,000 so far, which is $6,000 because it gets doubled. Keep the donations rolling, guys. for them kids. This event is for them kids. It really helps out crazily, and it will really, yeah, like it goes to the good cause. It's been researched. You can check it out on our website. Everywhere there's a lot of information about it. So yeah, I hope people are gonna be very inspired and very driven to donate, because it makes such a huge difference. That's why we're putting all this time and effort in this. So just wanted to plug that again.
It's like everybody's getting ready to start their Ultraxion polls here. Blood Legion, Paragon, Stars, and Exorsus all lining up at the platform, getting ready for the big Ultraxion to come down. It looks like Blood Legion's going to be the first to pull it, though.
It seems Blood Legion is slightly ahead.
It does look like they're still slightly ahead, maintaining this lead. It's not a big lead, but they're maintaining it, which is impressive to say the least. And they are going to be the first to pull Ultraxion. Not by far, though. It looks like Paragon and Stars are right behind them.
This is going to be a very close race. And the
Exorsus
thing is,
looks to be a little bit behind. What I want to know, I'm wondering, is that a result of them suiciding more than the other guilds so far? Because we've seen Stars take one leap of faith, that being a suicide, and we've seen Exorsus suicide 2, arguably 3 times now.
So I think Athene's stream just went down. I'm not sure. I can't tell. Just saying her drinking. I don't know. I think it's down. Oh Jesus. If he directs traffic to me. Yeah, I still think Blood Legion's got ahead. I still think Blood Legion's in the lead. Honestly, though, if anything goes wrong for them on Gunship or anything like that, it's gonna be pretty bad for finding out who's in the lead, because Paragon and Exorsus are so close. Well, actually, Paragon's DPS. What the hell? Look at the percentage difference between Paragon and Exorsus. Wow, holy crap at Paragon's damage. But then you look at Blood Legion and they're rogues, man. You see that rogues are just topping the meters in both the Russian and the US stream. It does look like Paragon are almost going to catch up to Blood Legion in damage. Just raw damage coming out of the Hunter, Warrior, Rogue team that they seem to have. I think Stars are pulling back as well, though. I can't tell because of Stars and Exorsus because of their timers being off. I haven't got any music set up to play. I should play some background music or something, because otherwise it's just going to be me talking. But yeah, I still think Blood Legion's got the lead, although they're really close now. Paragon, Blood Legion, and Exorsus. And the Chinese guild is catching up as well. Some crazy DPS that you can see on here. Crazy, crazy, crazy DPS. Yeah, that's Paragon and Blood Legion both got it down. So Exorsus and... Whoa, is that a death? No, that wasn't. No, nobody's losing anything. Everybody's staying completely fine. It's interesting that they're not getting rid of the heroism debuff for gunship. They all seem fairly confident. Like this downtime, there's downtime now between here and when gunship spawns. So it's interesting that none of them have killed it. Oh my god. Just sprinting over to start the event. It's definitely between Paragon and Blood Legion though. Exorsus seem to have fallen right behind. Exorsus were on par with Paragon, but they seem to have fallen behind just DPS wise. I'm really not sure. I'm not playing any ads at the moment. I mean, I was literally just restreaming, just in case. I mean, I can, if I play ads, I will put all the ad fun to the theme. But I'm not playing ads, and you should really go check out, like, yeah, OP Sharecraft and stuff. What is Exorsus doing? Okay, there was just extra damage to get on the Drakes. So you see all the range teams still going up on the balcony just to get the extra damage on those Drakes before they actually come into range. Exorsus still waiting for this ship to spawn. Although, did they kill themselves again? Wait, did Exorsus even use heroism? Did I miss something? Did Exorsus kill themselves? I can't see any heroism debuff on the rogue. I think Exorsus suicided again. You still got Paragon and Blood Legion leading the race though. Paragon and Blood Legion so close to each other. So close to each other. Blood Legion seem to be getting really bad RNG with the fires on the gunship though. I don't know how much that'll hurt them later on in the fight. You can see that their fire, you compare Blood Legion's fire on the actual ship to Paragon. So during the fight, the however much damage the ship takes during certain periods of time spawns more fire, and then the fire spreads and has to be put out by the gnomes, and there's only ever so many gnomes that can clear the fire. So if you let the ship take a lot of damage, you end up with a lot of fire on your hand. But obviously it's easier to do the fight without taking all the damage that the ship should take, without soaking all of them. So that's Stars and Exorsus. I think they're on the second wave, yeah, second wave. Whereas we should start seeing the boss come down after this wave's been killed for both Paragon and Blood Legion. There's the boss for Blood Legion. So yeah, Blood Legion definitely pulling ahead. Especially as they seem to be behind as well. Their time seems to be behind. only by a few seconds, but they're definitely ahead. I don't think we'll risk the ship being killed, but you can see that that Paragon have let the ship take hardly any damage. We'll see the boss drop in now for Paragon. Yeah, there he is. But the ship's on really high for Paragon. Their ship's only on 40% damage taken, so you can see that they've soaked a lot just to not risk the fires, whereas Blood Legion have got some really tricky fires going on in now. You can see that nearly their whole deck is covered in fire just because they've not soaked. Well, not soaked that much, rather. So the Drake's just landed for Paragon, and it's already on less than, no, about 50%. Whereas the boss has actually just landed for Stars as well. The boss, the Drake is actually on, wow, Stars even catching up again. It just seems, Stars seem to catch up DPS wise, middle of the fight, Stars seem to almost catch up with Paragon and Blood Legion. But, yeah, I don't know what happens at the end of their fight for them then. Exorsus are still killing that last wave. Their fires are looking pretty bad as well. I think the people with the best fire management, the best ship damage at the moment seems to be Paragon. I don't know how much of an effect that's going to come in. I mean, Blood Legion seem to have it very easy on them at the moment. They're at 53% on the boss. The ship seems fine. They're able to manage the fire that's left over still. But Stars are on 72%. Stars are on 72%. Blood Legion on 37%. Paragon splitting DPS between the Drake and the boss, which is a bit unknown. You can see that the boss is actually on, is that 64? 64? Yeah, 65. So Paragon are splitting DPS between the Drake and the boss, which is a really risky tactic, as the lower the boss actually gets, the more damage he puts out. The Drake's actually flown off now, and they're actually within good percentage of Stars again. Definitely Blood Legion in the head though. Blood Legion in ahead by 30% or so. Yeah, that's Blood Legion with the boss down. So it's between Paragon and Star. Whoa, Stars seem to be killing themselves again. Are they? No. Never mind. So Star's about to overtake Paragon. Yeah, Stars have overtaken Paragon. Just pure damage output from Stars just seems crazy. They started the fight later than Paragon. Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. So you can see everybody changing gear and stuff like that, ready to take on Spine. It'd be interesting to see how they do with the first Spine. So for those that can remember, with the first Dragon Soul Challenge, Vodka actually did, they did one tendon in one opening. It'd be interesting to see if any guilds can actually match that. So you can see Stars pulling just slightly ahead of Paragon. Paragon's still changing out gear, sorting Hellstones, stuff like that. Of course, Stars, the guild that we know for following the crazy shaman stacking ways of the Eastern world. So we're going to see the first tendon exposed pretty soon. Yeah, so far we've seen no intentional wipes. We've seen quite a few, I think every guild has at least once suicided off at some point for the heroism debuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see all of the guilds after Spine suicide off the edge of the platform, and because there is RP during between when you pull Deathwing and when he actually spawns. So, here comes the first 10 and expose from Blood Legion. Let's see what percentage they do. Still see the other guilds. So you can see the tank actually going straight for the corruption, so not wanting to peel off damage. So what happens during the fight is that the corruptions will carry on gripping people and stuff. Which obviously is a huge DPS loss. If you're popping all your cooldowns, all your pots, everything like that, and you get gripped by a corruption, what you don't want to have to do is have DPS pull off and switch that. So they got it to around 40% or so. That's good, that's good. So we'll see stars very soon. Stars is just actually starting to explode. So we'll see what stars can do. Stars is actually still pulling more and more gap between them and Paragon. So this is the first tendon for stars. Seeing it around 74, 50, going down to around 30%. So exactly the same as Blood Legion almost. 30%-ish. So yeah, here we go. Here we see Paragon. Paragon with their first 10 and expose. Let's see what we can see damage-wise from Paragon. You can see that Paragon seem to have timed the corruption a bit better than both of the other guilds. You see that the corruption, when the tendon is just starting to expose, when the tendon just comes targetable, the other corruption just dies. So that when this new corruption spawns, it grips them at the very end. So they have no DPS switching off. And we'll see the 10 and expose from Exorsus really soon. So we can see the second expose coming out from Blood Legion, which they got off them. Nicely done, nicely done. Second expose from stars right now, very quickly, very quick. That came out of nowhere. They must have had an amalgamation pre-prepped. So we'll see the first piece of armor fly off. So no fails so far. Every guild seems to be doing exactly how they want, exactly how they planned, rather, exactly as normal. No crazy tactics coming out of this boss, which was to be expected, I think. I think this is a fight where you can't really risk anything. It seems to be more of a fight that you have to execute, that you can't really risk anything on. So it's all guilds on the same part, but you can see Exorsus actually just taking off that first shell piece. Oh, that's their. Oh no! Wow, that was a really low percentage for their first expose. If it was their first expose. Stars catching up very quickly, though. You can see Stars and Blood Legion right now. This is their first 10 and expose for both of them. Stars actually almost pulling ahead now. So that was the first 10 and expose for both guilds. And Stars got it lower than Blood Legion. Just pure damage coming out of Stars' raid comp. Hunter doing insane numbers, but he's probably padding with bloods as well as the DK below him. It'd be interesting to see what the World of Logs. It'd be interesting to see what the World of Logs says afterwards with tendon damage. We can see that Paragon's just coming up to its first expose on the second plate. And the Russians are just coming up to killing off their first plate. All guilds very close, very close. Like you would think, being on the last before boss, the boss before last, sorry, that it might be less close than this. You think we might have seen differences in tactics and stuff like that. but all very close again, just like the first race. So Stars with their second plate off. Blood Legion just killing their second plate. Pure damage from Stars just seems to be, I don't know, it's just amazing. So you can see the differences in the raid comp here is that Blood Legion are actually using a DK to kill the Bloods, whereas Stars have opted for a Hunter and a DK. It looks like the DK is helping him, but it does seem to be a Hunter who seems to be doing the majority of damage. Guys, if you haven't already, like, keep probably refreshing the theme stream, waiting for him to come back up, and keep checking OP Sharecraft and stuff like that. Because, as I said, this is only a backup stream. This was only, yeah. So you can see that both Stars and Blood Legion are coming up to their first expose on the last plate. Paragon are coming up to as well. They're just about to do their flip. And Exorsus are coming up. I think that's their first expose on the second plate. Stars with their first explode. Fractions of seconds before Blood Legion's first expose. 20 seconds in it. Hardly even that. Hardly even 20 seconds in it. Just raw damage coming out of Stars though. Really low percentages we're seeing here. Less than 30% on the first 10 in expose. Huge amounts of damage. Absolute crazy.
Are so committed to making this event into a success, and I want to apologize again for the technical problems we had earlier.
Looks like Blood Legion Stars almost at a dead heat right now. It's really going to be hard to say who's going to take this fight first. Paragon not far behind. They're doing a really good job of catching up right now. Like, you know, they've been neck and neck with Blood Legion this whole race, but it looks like they're a little bit behind right now.
And when you talk about a little bit behind, you're talking about 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
Yeah, we're a little bit. Yeah, definitely. A little bit's like 5 seconds or something. They're really not behind.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive to see how this is so close. This is even closer than Vodka and Method. I'm really baffled to see how this is working out. I also want to say, guys, this is an event for charity, for OP Sharecraft. For the people watching, just letting you guys know that yeah, all donations are going directly to Save the Children for the Horn of Africa, one of the worst hunger crises in 60 years. And yeah, basically donating. All your donations are being matched, and 180% of your money is actually going to go to the field in a very effective way. I also want to ask Kina a little, can you give some background information? Oh, it seems that, if I'm getting it right, isn't Stars already at Deathwing?
They did kill Spine first, and they are sitting in front of Deathwing's platform now. Of course, it looks like they're changing some gifts, doing some respecs, maybe switching their raid comp around a little bit if they need to. But they are
they're
ready
far ahead actually
right now. Blood Legion's killing the last plate right now, and they're going to be moving on to Madness.
Oh yeah, Blood Legion is now here as well.
You can bet that Blood Legion's not going to waste any time trying to pull this boss.
So you have two guilds, Blood Legion and Stars, neck on neck ahead of each other. This is just absolutely insane. I wonder what the viewers are thinking. This is really a very close and very intensive event, and it seems that Stars has pulled the boss right now, and Blood Legend is about to pull it. So this is absolutely mind blowing. Like, what do you think? It seems that Stars is ahead right now.
Well, they are the Stars. What can you say? They are the Stars.
Just crazy. I really want to do a very, very big thanks for everybody donating. I see a lot of donations rolling in. Keep in mind, you can win Razer gear. By doing so, we will be announcing the winners after the event. So yeah, as you guys can see, Deathwing, Stars has already pulled together with Blood Legend. Exorsus is right now still on, what is it called, on
They're still working on Spine a bit here.
and then you got Paragon is about to pull. So it looks like it's gonna be between Blood Legend and Stars unless something crazy happens. What do you think? Can Paragon still win this event?
You know, I think it's going to be hard for Paragon to make up this kind of time at this point. I mean, it's definitely not impossible, and it's not impossible for one of these guilds in the lead to wipe right now. Like, we've seen some clean play, but we've also seen some messy play, especially back on Zon'ozz from Blood Legion. It's not unreasonable that one of these guilds could falter toward the end. Of course, no one wants to see that kind of thing happen, but nobody should be counting Paragon out right now.
And what about Exorsus?
Well, Exorsus is a little ways behind right now. Barring anything like that happening, they're definitely going to be coming in 4th place right now. But like I said, if anybody wipes, then they're moving up a spot easily.
And that can still happen, since one little mistake and you wipe. For a lot of people that are watching the event, you should realize that those encounters require a lot of coordination. And it looks really very smooth and simple and slick, but it is actually extremely hard because they're doing it without buff. It's very important for people to realize that. It seems that they're moving, Stars is moving to the 2nd platform, and Blood Legend here is about to move to the 2nd platform as well. They're really on a neck-on-neck race, Stars and Blood Legend, and then you got Paragon, which is still killing the Tentacle.
I'm going to go ahead and take this time to refresh my streams, especially on the last boss here.
How are the streams doing, Dries? What is...
I'm rebooting at the moment, but last time I checked it seemed to be working fine. We seem to be back up, doing good.
I really want to say sorry for all these technical difficulties. We're about to see the ending here, getting closer and closer. Checking Stars here are slightly, actually Stars are slightly ahead above Blood Legend. It's very close though.
Stars is definitely in the lead right now, leading Blood Legion by a small margin. Both of those guilds leading Paragon by a bit, with Exorsus just now pulling Madness of Deathwing, being quite a ways behind at this point.
It's amazing to see how even in such a big race like that takes almost 1.5 hours, the difference is so small, a few seconds. Because you would say in sports, for example, when you run a marathon or whatever, like the difference is not so small between the first one and the second one. So it's very fascinating to see how they're so much made for each other.
What I do want to make sure though is that if Stars finishes this boss, as soon as they finish this boss, can we try to get their timer up so we can see exactly
Yes,
what time they killed it?
I'm gonna say it here. I'm asking.
So you do want to make sure we have that timer. Like, it's very helpful, at least for watching between Paragon and Blood Legion. It's been extremely helpful.
Yeah, indeed. It's pretty fascinating to see 18,000 people watching. We had more than 50, like close to 100k actually, I think, were watching between 3 streams. The technical difficulties have drawn a lot of viewers to other places to find out the live stream because they don't want to miss 1 second of this event. It's pretty awesome. I'm really happy about the success of this event, and yeah, Kina, thanks a lot for the commentating. If you have any insights, information about the encounters here.
I'm just trying to see who exactly is ahead. I'm trying to make sure that I know exactly who is ahead and how far ahead they are. It's a little hard to tell because we did have a little bit of tactical difficulties. I want to make sure that I know where each guild is at right now.
It seems
especially between Blood Legion and Stars, because they're so close. It's hard to be, you know, it's hard to make sure you know exactly where they both are.
It is pretty crazy how close they are all are relative to each other. How much longer before we will know?
Well, I think the next breaking point for us to note will be entering phase 2. Like, which of these guilds enters phase 2 of this fight first? And that's, I think, when the real burn is going to begin. At that point, it's basically no turning back. Like, if you wipe at that point, you're going to lose. And if you don't wipe at that point, well, you're going to have a very different effect in which you're going to win. But that's the point of the fight where it's all or nothing, pretty much. Like, if you wanted to make mistakes, you needed to do it earlier than that. If you wanted to wipe, like if you didn't think you were going to make it, you need to do it earlier than that, because it's not going to happen past that point without some severe consequences, that is.
For guilds rushing for not just for a prize pool, but mainly for fame and the title. This is a pretty, like, for a lot of people are watching, this is content that have been on farm for so long. This brings a lot of excitement for those top PvE guilds being part of this event and being able to compete against other guilds in such a speedrun.
For those who are looking at the DPS meters, you notice that Shadow Priests are dominating in 3 of these 4 guilds, except for Blood Legion, where the Druids are holding it down above the Shadow Priests. That's something we saw with Method as well, where their Druids were just dominating the charts for most of the run. And here still it looks like Exorsus coming up in the back of the pack, with Stars and Blood Legion leading the race, Paragon falling slightly behind them in 3rd place right now. Anxious to see which of these guilds enters phase 2 first, because that's going to be the point in the fight where we can really tell who's in the lead and who's going to start burning Deathwing down first.
Yeah, I'm really wondering. I'm really excited. I'm not going too crazy because a lot of people are from MMO Champion. I've been checking the feedback they have, and I've been seeing that yeah, like they like to get insight. They don't like to hear too much talk. They really want, yeah, the core of the event going on and understanding what's going on. So yeah, Kina, all the information you can give is more than welcome.
It looks like Stars is on their final platform right now. Blood Legion should be moving on to the final platform in just a little bit. Actually, right now, they're going to be running to the last platform, following up Stars just slightly behind them right now. Stars is working on the tentacle on the last platform. Of course, whoever gets this platform down first will be moving on to phase 2. I apologize. I wanted to see how many times I could say platform within a minute there.
So yeah, I also want to say, I want to add to this that while I'm watching here, they're not even rolling on the epics, right? They're just leaving them on the boss, I guess.
They're definitely not worried about the gear right now. Of course, I have to go back and see who wins all of the fat loot, but right now, no one's stopping to think about that.
For the people wondering why Kin Raiders isn't part of the event, they stopped raiding in December. A lot of people have been asking that. Just giving you guys the yeah, heads up. And also, this is for them kids. If you guys want to donate, opsharecraft.com. This requires a lot of time, a lot of organization, and all donations are welcome. Everything gets doubled matched and goes straight to Save the Children. It goes to save kids that are facing the worst hunger crisis in 60 years in the Horn of Africa. So I hope, and you can win Razor gear by donating. There is actually prices which I always show here. You can see them on the top, the bottom right.
It was amazing is how clean all of these guilds' runs have
Yeah.
been, with the exception of a near wipe on Zon'ozz by Blood Legion. Nobody has really occurred any or encountered any problems in any of these fights. All 4 runs have been very clean so far.
Oh, it seems that Stars and Blood Legion are almost at the exact same point.
They are right now. It looks like Stars is slightly ahead, but not by much at all. Blood Legion is moving on to the main tentacle right now, which Stars has been working on for a few seconds already. Whoever gets this tentacle down first is going to be moving on to phase 2 of Madness of Deathwing and beginning the
Oh
race
my god.
to kill this boss.
It's so close, man. It's so close.
Of course, Paragon is also on the last platform. Don't forget about them. They're only the best guild in the world.
Yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of
for those who don't know, they're just one of the best guilds ever.
Yeah, people have to realize like those people have so much skill, each of them. Even Exorsus being the like number 4 right now in the race are doing this so fast. Do not
Just real
underestimate.
quick, Stars has moved on to phase 2 of the fight. They
Oh
have
my
Deathwing
God.
down and they're burning him right now. Of course, phase 2 is a phase that spawns a lot of different, or blah, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, a lot of different ads, and you have to worry about the boss healing, causing you to re-kill certain ads, so you don't want that to happen.
See, I wanna.
This is an intense burn phase. You're trying to kill this boss as quick as possible, of course, in a race like this. But even if they weren't in a race, this is a phase that you cannot allow to live for very long.
Just want to say,
because you
Blood
won't be able to
Legion.
handle it.
Blood Legion has also been burning down like Deathwing. So this seems to be, if they don't die, it's gonna be against between Blood Legends and Stars right now. They're head on head, with a few seconds apart, as we can see. So, what do you think? What's gonna happen? Is this a coin flip?
Right now, this is anybody's game. It's going to be really hard to say who can win for another couple percent here. Paragon's going to be joining them shortly, and that's going to be followed by Exorsus. But right now, it's all about Stars and Blood Legion, seeing who can get this last bit of Deathwing dead.
We're gonna be knowing in how much in a few minutes, I think.
Trying to pull up these streams, get a clear look at the boss's health. It looks like Blood Legion has Deathwing at about 12%. Stars has Deathwing at about 10%, so it looks
Oh
like
my
they're
God.
slightly ahead right now. 8%, 7%. It's pumping out ridiculous DPS. The Stars have brought all the DPS.
This is crazy. How?
Now, right now, it does look like as long as they keep it together, it looks like Stars is going to be taking this.
With a few seconds. Stars
We do
has
have
killed
Deathwing
Deathwing.
down to 2%. And Stars has it dead with 5:42:57, I want to say, on their timer.
And this is Blood Legion about to kill Deathwing as well. We got here Deathwing and Paragon against each other. Like, Paragon is also here burning down. I'm just watching here very carefully, very closely.
I'm waiting to see I'm waiting to see Blood Legion officially kill this and get their time. 5:43:31 was Blood Legion's time. Paragon finishing up the boss here shortly.
This is just insane. How close they all are. Are you writing down the timers?
I did. So it looks like Stars has won this. Stars killed Deathwing at 5:42:57. I'm sorry. Blood Legion killed it at 5:43:31.